Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be starting my brand new YouTube exclusive series, my beginner to 2K guide on voobly. Now if you're a player that likes to play Age of Empires 2 at a casual level, with either friends or family, or if you're a player that likes to play the campaigns but has never played online before and you want to take your game to the next level, this is the series for you. So basically I've made a new account on voobly and I'm going to be going from 1500 or 1600 all the way to 2K, and I'm going to be showing you guys my thought process throughout the games as well as the steps you guys should take to try and actually up your game as well. Now before we get started for the first episode, I will just show you guys a little bit around voobly if you guys are new to the platform, maybe coming over from Steam or coming over from the single player, and I'll also show you guys how to set up your lobby in game. Now, keep in mind this guide will be purely 1v1 Arabia because I do strongly believe that that is the best setting to play if your goal is to improve at this game. I understand that team games or different maps can help you learn different things, but if you guys want to really get as good as you can as fast as possible, it's important to stick to just Arabia because it's the most, first of all, the most diverse map, and second of all, the most popular map, so you will never have any trouble finding games at any level. Alright, so without further ado, let's hop right into the video. Alright, so first things first, let's go ahead and look around at voobly. So I'm hosting a game right here. I did this by just clicking quick host at the very top. But before you even get here, if you first install voobly, real quick, this is the page you will see a game browser with two lobbies that are of interest to you. You've got the new player lobby that I'd recommend joining if you guys are absolutely new to the game. If you guys have played the game from time to time, you might be able to just skip right into Medieval Siege, which is where most intermediate to expert or even beginner players will play in as well. So once you get to Medieval Siege, which I have open right here, you want to quickly get into a game here by quick host, or you can browse the different lobbies and search for one that fits your level. Look for 1v1 Arabia because again, that is the best way to improve at Age of Empires. Alright, so I've got a game right here by myself. I'm gonna go ahead and launch and show you guys some of the things I do in game, just to make sure we're all on the same page in terms of settings and what you guys should be looking at when when starting your online grind. Alright, so once you've launched the game, you'll come to a lobby like this. And this is the settings you should have if you want to actually play the standard settings, which I would strongly recommend doing. So most notably here, population 200, not more, not less. Difficulty and resources both at standard. Map size for 1v1 is going to be the tiny for 2 players. Starting age and victory standard and conquest. And review map normal, game speed normal. These will be automatically checked out, so you don't have to worry too much about them. Alright, so in terms of map, you've got Arabia as a standard. There's nothing really wrong with this map, but there are also other versions of Arabia that are slightly easier to learn the game on. I would personally recommend going to a custom map, and you can find this online. It's going to be the Hidden Cup 2 Arabia. It's quite a popular one as well, so you're not going to be an outsider if you use this one. And it's just a lot easier to learn on this map because on the standard Arabia, you have a lot of these oases around your base that could make it a lot harder to actually get off to a nice start because of the lack of wood or whatnot. Alright, so once you've set up your lobby as such, I'd recommend the next thing to look for is to look at what AI options you have. Just to get started, you might not want to play against real players first. I personally would recommend playing a few games against the AI just to get a feel of your early game and then start playing against real players. So again, I said a few games. It depends on the person. You can play 10 games versus the AI, call it a day. You can play 100 or 200 games before moving on to real humans. No big deal, it's up to you. I'd recommend, though, choosing the Barbarian AI. The computer, he doesn't really play properly. He gets extra resources handed to him, and it's just not a very realistic situation. Brute Force and Promi are slightly weaker AIs. Barbarian is a very high ceiling AI, because if you put him on hard or hardest, he's actually like a very strong player. But if you put him on easiest, he's relatively easy to beat, and he plays the most like a real human. So I'd recommend playing against the Barbarian, and depending on where you stand, play him on the difficulties. Easiest, obviously the easiest, and all the way to hardest. I will say though, on hardest, he's probably like a 1650 to 1700 player on voobly, so it's pretty high level. Alright, I would say a good milestone to set for yourself is to beat him on easiest, then standard, then moderate, and then hard. If you can beat him on hard, I recommend then just playing against real players. You could push yourself and try to go for hardest, but I think at this point, once you can beat him at hard, you're very competent at the game. I'd say you're borderline intermediate player. You should start playing against some of the real players and get more of a feel that way. All right, that's it for the AIs. And the next thing to take a look at is the tech tree. So again, the tech tree is very long, and you can't memorize everything that's on the tech tree for all 31 civs. It's just not realistic. So what I would recommend is at the start of every game, you take a look at your civilization's tech tree, take a look at their special bonuses, and then take a look at some of the options they have available to them. That is the best way to learn all the civilizations, what they have available to them over time. Again, it's not something you memorize, it's something you slowly learn as you play more games. Alright, finally, we have the hotkeys. I'm going to go ahead and launch this game versus the computer. I'm not actually going to play it out because, like I said, you could be starting at different levels. After this episode, I'm going to be playing versus real humans, so I'm going to be assuming you guys have brought up your game until you're able to beat the AI on hard. That is the level I'm expecting you guys to be at going forward. Alright, so when you're starting the game here, again, play it out. It's a standard game versus the AI. But one thing I will take or bring to your attention is some of the option settings you guys can do. So on options, I'd recommend putting the graphics details to low. I think it's very important to play it on low because A, you're taking up less CPU, so it's good. But B, you're actually able to see the hills a lot better on low than on high. If you don't believe me, feel free to test it out by yourself and decide which suits you best. Screen size, this is the best one, 1920 by 1080. But again, it's whatever you have. No big deal. Whatever you feel comfortable with, it's up to you. Speed normal, this is standard. Don't play on slow or fast. And this is also standard as well. As far as scroll speed and sound, I recommend just taking whichever ones suits you the best. I turn my music off because I think it's distracting, and I put my scroll speed and sound at this levels. Again, feel free to do whatever you want. It's personal preference only. As far as hotkeys go, this is the most important thing to talk about in this particular video. Now, I strongly recommend not copying a pro player's hotkeys. Just because it's good for one player doesn't mean it's going to be good for you. Hotkeys are good only because they're personalized. They're adapted to your playstyle. So I recommend just learning some of the standard hotkeys and then fixing one or two of them to your preference after playing the game, and then learning those two. Then go back and switch another two, learn those, and then come back and switch another two. Repeat the process until you've got a completely customized setting. If you try and do the whole setup all at once and then learn it, you're going to come into a lot of brick walls and you're not going to remember a lot of things. It's not going to feel right. You're going to get discouraged. So I highly recommend just changing 1, 2, maybe even up to 4 or 5 things at a time, and then learning those and then coming back and adapting more and more of your hotkeys. The most important hotkeys are probably the unit commands, so a lot of things here, and the villager build. Villager builds, because you use these very often. Game commands has some very important things as well, although it has a lot of stuff that's pretty irrelevant as well, so keep that in mind. And then as far as just creating units, that's something that you can fix out very easily, depending on what you feel comfortable with. Alright, cool, so that's pretty much covered all the basics on how to set up your game and how to set up voobly as well. So again, feel free to play against the AIs. I recommend the barbarian. Once you can beat them on hard, that is the level I expect you guys to be at for the next episode, where I will be actually tackling real players and showing you guys my steps from 1600 all the way to 2K. So stay tuned for the next episode. I'm expecting it to be like 1 or 2 of these episodes a week, and then I'll eventually get to 2K, and I think we'll all be good. So thanks for watching, everyone. Drop a comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the series, what you guys want me to talk about in future episodes, and what you expect to learn from the series as well. That's going to be it from me, though. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.